problem of inadequate power supply at the same time as poor waste management. What would drive all these lies in the fact that power is actually generated. It is for this singular reason that the federal government, together with its multilateral partners, is putting systems and processes in place to guarantee power sector investments. We have strengthened power market intermediaries, such as the bulk trader, with sufficient working capital to ensure its solvency and credit worthiness based on the payment risk exposure posed by each of the DISCOs. NBET is now cash-backed with over $750 million in financing to help stimulate greater private investments in the sector, guaranteeing monthly payments to the generation companies in the unexpected event of distribution company non-payment. Please note that I said in the unexpected event. That means that companies should not line up. This is not a line of payment or line of credit. In addition, the federal government has also developed the put-call option agreement that guarantees protection of equity and debt. Our partners at the World Bank and African Development Bank, through their partial risk guarantee programs, for which we thank them, are providing additional guarantees of over US $1.2 billion, which we have negotiated with them in support of the bulk trader for investments in generation. The regulator is putting in place a cost-reflective tariff that will provide adequate provision for CAPEX and OPEX funding. This multi-year tariff framework ensures that in the event of any changes in its underlying economic and technical indices, the tariffs will be modified accordingly. We also stand ready in the interim to see what government can do to see that the MITO works and is provided for. The guarantees and the tariff framework will go a long way to improve the attractiveness and upside potential of the successor companies and other new investors in the sector. As the federal government did recently by raising a $1 billion Eurobond for the capitalization of the bulk trader, transmission upgrades and gas infrastructure, government is committed to using the instruments of the federal government to support the power sector. Let me at this juncture mention some good news, which is the transfer of US $200 million to the infrastructure window of our sovereign wealth fund, the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, from the Eurobond proceeds to enable it partner with the private sector on gas to power PPPs. We are anxious to lift the bottlenecks on gas supply and wish to use this to encourage some good solutions. The NSIA will also manage the $350 million of liquidity facility for the Nigerian bulk trader. So you can see that we have positioned the management of our finances for this sector and the guarantee mechanisms that we put in place very well and ably to support the sector. And we stand ready to do what is necessary financially. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I've spelled out to you the enormous infrastructure investment potential we have as a nation. I've also spelled out the federal government's willingness to engage in certain types of guarantee mechanisms to support the power sector alone and together with multilateral partners. I've described to you how we have positioned the financial assets that we have for the sector already to be well managed to generate returns and to make sure that we have strong financial backing for the sector. You have a great opportunity before you. I sincerely hope that we, on the government side, can work hard to enable you, take us seriously, so that you can seize these opportunities. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, for that enlightening speech. Now, I also want to recognise a few people in the audience and a few delegations. In total, there are over 310 delegates from 29 countries here. There's also a high-powered 15-man delegation from the Islamic Development Bank. It's led by the CEO for infrastructure. There's a high-powered delegation from Stanbic Bank, led by the CEO for West Africa, and World Bank delegation here represented. So, ladies and gentlemen, everyone really is in this room. Sharon, you're holding an important piece of paper in your hands. What's that? Oh, yes, it's an important piece of paper, Mark. It's the feedback expression of interest form. You'll find it somewhere in your bags, somewhere there. Please try and fill this form. It will give us an idea of what you want from us and how you're going to go about it and what you think of this conference. It's called a feedback and expression of interest form. And then, this conference was organized by the National Council of Privatization, we told you that earlier, under the leadership of His Excellency Vice President and Chairman, Architect Namadi Sambo. And this program is supported by a host of financial institutions. We have to say thank you to Standard Chartered Bank, Stanbic IBTC Bank PLC. A round of applause as I call them. They have spent money. Diamond Bank PLC, thank you very much. Ecobank Nigeria PLC, Heritage Bank PLC, Sterling Bank PLC, Fidelity Bank PLC, as well as Sky Bank PLC. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. As we say in Lagos, okay. Now, all the ministers that came discussed the opportunities and potential that faces us here. But none of this will be possible without a three-letter word, gas. The question is, where's the gas going to come from, and how can investors be assured of a steady supply of gas? Most of Nigeria's electricity is generated through gas-powered plants, 80%, I believe. So a steady supply is one of the keys to success. Now, our next speaker has a plan, a gas master plan. On behalf of the Honorable Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Dezani Alison Madueke, please welcome the GMD of the NNPC, Mr. Andrew Yakubu, ladies and gentlemen.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Architect Mohammed Namadi Sambo, GCON, permit me to duly adopt all established protocols. I go straight to present the speech of the Honorable Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Dezani Alison Madueke, CON. So the next voice you're going to hear will be the voice of Mrs. Dezani Alison Madueke. Let me start by congratulating Your Excellency Mr. President and Your Excellency Mr. Vice President for the outstanding progress being made in reforming the nation's power sector. It is evident that significant achievements have been recorded in the nation's drive to bring to an end the era of incessant power failure. The Ministry of Petroleum Resources aligns wholly with Mr. President's agenda in the power sector and is committed to supporting its full realization. This we are doing through sustainable and commensurate growth in gas supply to meet the gas demand of the increasing number of the power generating plants in the country. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at the beginning of this administration, the Ministry of Petroleum Resources embarked on a robust and accelerated implementation of Nigeria's gas master plan, with a view to jumpstarting the growth of gas supply to the nation's power plants and repositioning the gas sector for full liberalization. I'm pleased to report that from a modest gas supply level of 300 million cubic feet per day